Creating meaningful work is important. Documenting the process behind the work is important too. But there is another part many artists avoid, underestimate, or dismiss entirely: distribution. Because art that is never shared eventually becomes invisible, no matter how powerful it is. We're living in one of the very few moments in history where artists no longer need permission to reach people. Previous generations depended heavily on galleries, publishers, television stations, institutions, collectors, critics, or gatekeepers to distribute their work and ideas to the public. But today, a single artist with a phone and internet access can speak directly to the world, and that changes everything. Yet many artists still treat distribution as something secondary, something embarrassing, or even cringe. Many artists are comfortable creating quietly but are uncomfortable being visible. But visibility matters, not because every artist should chase fame, but because distribution is how culture survives. If work is never shared, then its influence remains limited to small physical spaces and temporary moments. And honestly, I think many artists misunderstand what distribution actually means. Distribution is not just self-promotion. Distribution is cultural participation. It is contributing your voice to the larger archive of human creativity. It is saying we were here, this is how we saw the world, this is how we interpreted our experiences, these were our philosophies, these were our stories. Without distribution, even meaningful work can disappear silently over time. And this becomes especially important when thinking about Kenyan art and African art in general. Because if we do not actively distribute our stories, aesthetics, philosophies, and perspectives, then global culture will continue being shaped by primarily people who already dominate visibility online. And as we all know, the internet rewards presence, not silence. And that realization forced me to rethink how I see platforms like YouTube. For a long time, many African artists have treated long-form documentation and storytelling as something reserved for artists from elsewhere. We consume hours of creative content from artists from outside Africa, watching their studio processes, listening to their philosophies, following their evolution, and learning how they think. Meanwhile, many incredible African artists remain almost invisible online, outside of finished images of their work. The artworks, they exist, yeah, but the artist's voice is what's missing. And that absence matters more than we think, because visibility creates psychological permission. When a young Kenyan artist goes online and consistently sees Kenyan artists speaking about creativity seriously, documenting their process seriously, building worlds and distributing their ideas, something shifts internally. It normalizes possibility. It tells them this is not just something people from elsewhere do. This can come from here too. One artist showing up consistently online can quietly change the imagination of hundreds of younger creatives watching silently. And distribution is not only about the present generation, it's also about the future. The internet has become one of humanity's largest living archives. And what we upload today may exist decades from now. Think about that. 50 years from now, someone might research a Kenyan artist, and from this generation, what will they find? Will they find only scattered images with no context? Or will they find artists speaking, thinking, experimenting, teaching, reflecting, failing, evolving, and building ideas in public? Will they encounter a living creature ecosystem, or only fragments? Because distribution preserves cultural presence across time. And honestly, I think many artists wait too long before they begin sharing their process publicly. Some wait until success arrives. And I think some wait until the work feels good enough. Others wait until they feel confident. I don't know, maybe confidence is a destination, or I don't know. Others wait until they feel validated. But that mindset creates a dangerous illusion that visibility should only happen after achievement. And the truth is, the journey itself is valuable. The uncertainty is valuable. The experiments are valuable. Early stages are valuable. The failures, the awkward phases. I'm thinking of myself even talking. It's kind of awkward, honestly, but I'll get used to it. Yeah. This is what future artists actually need to see, not polished mythology, human process. And the beautiful thing is that distribution no longer requires massive resources. A basic phone is enough. A simple camera is enough. A small audience is enough to begin. The point is not perfection. The point is participation. Because every time an African artist shares their process, their perspectives, or philosophy publicly, they contribute to another thread to the larger fabric of African cultural memory. Think of that. And over time, those threads become movements. I genuinely believe if more Kenyan visual artists, more African visual artists intentionally document and distribute their journeys online, the creative landscape of this country and this continent will shift dramatically within this generation. Not only because more artists will gain visibility, but because future artists will finally have something many of us lacked growing up: access to artists who looked like them, spoke like them, lived like them, and created from environments they recognized. That kind of visibility changes people, and maybe that is why distribution should no longer be treated as vanity or self-promotion. Maybe it should be understood as a responsibility. Because if we have the tools to preserve our voices, our stories, our philosophies, and our creative evolution for future generations, then refusing to share them means risking cultural disappearance through silence. And silence has erased enough already. Have a good day or a good night. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah.